The earnings season in Singapore kicks off this week, where listed companies will be posting their business updates or financial results for the quarter ended 30th of June. First in line will be the REITs, or Real Estate Investment Trust for short. Those with a financial year end on 31st December will be reporting their half-yearly results this time round and declaring a distribution payout for unit holders. With that in mind, I have received questions from several readers on my thoughts about the REIT's upcoming results and distribution payouts. Here's what I am going to do. In this video, you will find my thoughts about how the REITs may perform for the first half of the financial year 2024, both in terms of their financial performance and distribution payouts. I will also be sharing my outlook for the REIT sector for the second half of 2024 and beyond. Let's get started. First, my thoughts on the Singapore REITs results for the first half of 2024. The recent spike in the REITs unit price can be contributed to the positivity surrounding the first interest rate cut coming in September. However, nothing has changed. The benchmark interest rate is still at 5.5% according to Trading Economics. In fact, it has been as such since July 2023. That said, the high interest rate environment has resulted in many of the REITs management scaling down their acquisition activities. The situation remains the same for the first half of 2024. Hence, my opinion is that most of the REITs' financial results, in terms of its gross revenue and net property income, will at most be able to generate a low to mid single digit percentage growth, contributed by rental escalations built into the tenants' contracts. The next one will be the REIT's all-in cost of debt, which you can find under their debt profile. As mentioned in my previous point, because interest rates continue to remain at a high level, we will likely see many of the REITs' all-in cost of debt continue to creep up. And in my opinion, REITs with a lower percentage of borrowings hedged at fixed rates, particularly those below 70%, will be more impacted. However, in terms of the hike in percentage terms, it will be lower compared to last year. As a result of a small growth in its financial performance, coupled with borrowing costs increasing further, it is very likely that distribution payouts for the first half of 2024 be weaker compared to last year. I expect the decline to be somewhere in the low to mid single digit percentage. Here is my outlook on the performance of the Singapore REITs in the second half of 2024 and beyond. For the second half of 2024, my opinion is that acquisition activities are likely going to remain low. No doubt there may be an interest rate cut coming in September and maybe another cut in December, but they are still at elevated levels. Hence, I think that the REITs management will want to exercise caution and be careful about embarking on aggressive acquisition activities at this point in time. Perhaps we may start seeing an increase in volume as far as acquisitions are concerned next year, after another 1 to 2 interest rate cuts by the US Federal Reserve, where benchmark rates come down to around the 4+% level. Financial performance, in terms of growth in its gross revenue and net property income, is likely going to be more or less the same as the first half of 2024, where we will at most see a growth along the range of low to mid single digit percentage. Should the US Federal Reserve start its first interest rate cut in September, those with a low percentage of borrowings hedged at fixed rates, particularly those below 70%, could see some slight improvement in its all-in cost of borrowings. Distribution payouts for the second half of 2024 will likely continue to see a low to mid single digit percentage decline. For those of you who are wondering when will the REITs distribution payout start to see a year-on-year improvement, my smart guess will be in 2026. Why not 2025, you may ask? If the US Federal Reserve decide to embark on an aggressive interest rate cut, then it may be possible. But at this point in time, I do not see it happening. And they will prefer to do it slowly and gradually, just in case inflation starts spiking up again. In terms of my outlook for distribution payout in 2025, my opinion is that it will be somewhere around the same levels as 2024. With that, I have come to the end of today's sharing. Please take note that all the opinions expressed in this video are purely mine, which I am sharing for educational purposes only. If you like what I have just shared, I would greatly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. Also, you may want to consider subscribing to this channel so that you will not miss out on any new video postings. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next video.